Hello everyone, I hope all of you are fine. Uh, as you all know, you are going to submit a research proposal at the end of this course, as your final note will be given out of them. So, to introduce you some important aspects, I will quickly introduce you survey design today. So what do we mean by surveys, right? And what do you need to do, what do you need to write down on your research proposals about survey design. So I prepared a very quick presentation on this, and you will hopefully better understand what we are looking for. So why do we need surveys, right? I mean, we have been talking about research design, we have been talking about scientific research, and all we talk about on these issues is we need to collect some data, right? Based on this data, we can argue some arguments, we can argue some hypotheses, as you all remember. So in social sciences, like in management, how can you collect data? So we can in most cases, we can collect it through surveys. So what does a survey mean? Okay. What kind of surveys exist? And how can you use in your research proposals? Okay. So this quick, very short presentation will help you on to understand that. So think about that. We are working on people. Okay. We are making a science on people. We are social scientists. So we need to understand how people behave, right? And or how organizations behave, or how firms behave, and we need to put it into a scientific terms. So when we look at the outside world, we see many people, we see many organizations, right? So we call them actually a population. Okay, all of the people around you, all of the possible organizations out there that you can use, that you want to make some arguments on them. Okay. For example, we are developing some theories on organizations, right? And we are saying that these theories are applicable to all organizations, right? Or we are making an argument on some human behavior, and we are saying that all humans are like this. So we are talking about a population here. Okay? It could be a sort of people, for example, a sort of employees, like doctors. Doctors could be the population, or nurses could be the population, or some organizations, like, for example, medical sector could be your population, or engineering sector could be your population. But when you are making some survey, right, it is impossible to go and ask all of their opinion. Right? I mean, you need to choose one of them, choose some of them, and ask your questions to them. So we call it sampling. Okay, we call it sampling, and it means that from a wider number of people or organization, you are selecting some of them, and you are asking your questions on this small number of people to understand their realities, and then turn these realities into your scientific research, into your data. Okay, so this is sample means. Okay, there's a population out there, all of the people, all of the organizations, or some sort of the people, some sort of the organizations, like doctor, nurses, or medical sector firms, and you need to select some of them. Okay, if you understand this, let's move on another one. So when you have defined the group of individuals having one characteristics and distinguish them from all of the groups, you have your population. Okay, in your research proposals, you need to name them. If you want to study on organizations, for example, and if you want to if you want to test some hypothesis on organizational things, organizational realities, first you need to define your population. What kind of organizations? Okay. So it could be just restaurants, it could be hospitals, it could be government institutions, right? So what is your population? Or in terms of people, if you are talking, for example, you are working on children, okay? So between the age of 5 to 10, all children could be your population. I mean, it's very wide, right? You want to understand their characteristics. But as we talked before, you cannot reach all of them. You cannot make a connection with all of them. I mean, you cannot ask all of them questions, right? I mean, you cannot find all of the children and ask your survey questions to them, right? So you need to have a target population, or we call it the sampling frame. Okay, so you are listing some sampling units, and in that list you are selecting your sample, and the actual sample is where your study is applied on them. Okay, I mean, this tree is very important, but you need to select your population. I'm going to define it. You need to tell me that this is my population. I am working on these issues. I just wonder about this. Let's say I just wonder about the restaurants. I just wonder about children. I just wonder about some doctors. Okay, anything. It's your population, and then you need to provide a sample. Okay, how do you select the sample? I mean, for example, we are in Ankara, and you may say that my sample includes doctors in Ankara, Hacettepe Hospital. Okay, so you can frame your sample here, and then you can select your sample out of that. So another thing also you should know, and you should write in your proposals. Okay, what type of surveys exist? I mean, there are actually two main types of surveys. One of them is questionnaires. I mean, most of you are very familiar with them. In your courses, you are filling out these questionnaires, right? I mean, this is written format. Someone's giving you some paper, and you are just answering some questions. And the other one is interviews. Okay, in the interview, you just make a face-to-face connection with the respondent. Okay, so due to the nature of your research proposal, you can select either one of them. You may say that I want to make a questionnaire. I just want to distribute these papers to people, and they are just making answers for me. Or you may select that the second option. I just want to make an interview with people. I'm going to talk to them face to face. Okay. So what is the difference between them, right? So in the first one, in the questionnaire one, as you see on the table here, okay, the records are completed by the participant itself. Okay, you either give them a printed questionnaire in a paper, or you're just making them emailing them, and they are filling out some questionnaires, right? And you are not intervening to them. The questions are there; they are answering it. It is somehow it can reach more number of people, right, in a quicker time. I mean, you don't need to one by one talk to them. You just distribute some papers and think about in a class you are filling out your questionnaires, right? So you can collect in a quicker time. And the second option in an interview, you can do it on one by one. It could be an option. I mean, you are going taking an appointment from a, let's say, manager of a company and ask your questions to him. Right? This could be an option. Or you can do it in a group. I mean, a group of people, let's say 10 people around the table. You are asking their questions and you are taking their group opinions, okay? Or you can do it on the phone, on the internet, or any other means that you can use, right? But important thing that you need to remember is that survey is both could be a questionnaire and then interview, okay? So in your research proposals, you need to select this. So while finishing, okay, in your proposals, what you need to do, you need to write down who is your population and what will be your sample, okay? And what survey method are you going to use? Interview or questionnaires? And you need to explain me why, very briefly. I hope this quick video would be helpful for you, and see you guys.